Lately, there's been a lot of talk about this thing called the Bechdel test. What is the Bechdel test, you may ask? Well, it's a measuring tool to measure gender diversity, to be specific. Well, mostly it's women. The test came from a comic strip called Dykes to Watch Out For by Alison Bechdel. In one strip, she has one of her characters tell another character about this test she has in mind every time she goes sees a movie regarding women. Her rules? 1, there have to be at least 2 women. 2, those 2 women must talk to each other. And 3, those women must talk about something other than a man. Pretty straightforward. So why do we need this test? Do we actually need to follow this? I think yes and no. Let me start off with the yes. Well, why not? There haven't been a lot of female protagonists out there, mostly in mainstream media, that talk about something other than a man, and it's a great way to prevent tokenism and also stereotypes. After all, Sweden has decided to put on a label on films that pass or fail the Bechdel test as a way to promote awareness, much like the rating system to let you know if your child can see boobs or guns. But sadly, this can lead to no answer to this question. For starters, what else can women talk about? Marriage, babies, shopping, the stereotypical feminine things. It's usually the third part of the test that can get pretty vague, tedious. Insert a word here. Think about it. If we put this test to Sex and the City 2, Sex and the City 2 passes the Bechdel test. Let me repeat that. Sex and the City 2 passes the Bechdel test. There has been a debate when it came to the 2 big action films that came out in the past 2 years, The Avengers and Pacific Rim. More so with Pacific Rim because there was a lot of debate with the character of Mako Mori. Oh, she's such an appealing and well-developed character, but this film fails the Bechdel test. Does this mean this film fails? Well, people have made up their own tests when it comes to situations like this. Let's take a look at the Mako Mori test. At least one female character must be in there. She must have their own narrative arc, and that arc cannot be about supporting a man's story. According to the Mako Mori test, Pacific Rim passes, and so does The Avengers and probably several other ones. Although, didn't Black Widow interact with that woman from S.H.I.E.L.D.? Pretty sure she did. Huh. While the Bechdel test mostly applies to films, it can be applied to other forms of media. However, let's take television shows. Would it apply to only a main cast, or characters that appear only every few episodes, or just random characters that appear out of nowhere and then leave? Well, I'm gonna take a recent show that just ended and apply the test just to the main cast. I'm gonna go with Breaking Bad. Oh, spoilers, by the way. There are 2 main women in this series, Skylar White and her sister Marie. Their conversations mostly revolve around Walter White and all the shenanigans he gets into. Also, they talk about Marie's husband, Hank, who's the DEA. Oh, that means Breaking Bad fails the Bechdel test. Okay, it sort of passes because I'm sure in the early seasons they talk about her unborn daughter, Holly, and when Holly is born they talk about Holly and Walt Jr., who has a penis, I think. So Breaking Bad barely passes, but it's a solid show, and in my opinion, Skylar White is one of the best written characters in television history. But I'll gush about her another time. By another time, I mean probably very soon, next episode or so. Or the answer is maybe both. I mean, there are valid points to each argument for using and not using it. It really just depends on what the viewer-consumer thinks. Plus, recently there was a graph floating around Tumblr of films that made money last year that passed the Bechdel test. And it was a whole lot of money. Link in the description. The Bechdel test is a good start when writing characters and preventing that dreaded tokenism thing that is far too common. Yet at the same time, I don't think we should go nuts if there's a good piece of media that may or may not pass it, such as Breaking Bad or Pacific Rim or even The Avengers. Heck, what about Gravity? It's only Sandra Bullock's character, but she has an entire character arc, and the only thing she really interacts with is space. And I guess George Clooney. But wait, Nature's considered female, so technically she does interact with another woman. Does that make it a bad movie because it doesn't pass the test? The answer is no. Alfonso Cuarón has a motherfucking Oscar. Shut up. So yes, it's a great starting point and a good measurement to prevent said tokenism, but it doesn't really tell you if the movie's good. Like I said, Sex and the City 2 passes, and so does The Host. Although good on you, Sweden, for now putting it on your rating system, but we shouldn't blame this on mainstream media. We should take the stand and create stories with more gender diversity and well-developed / interesting characters. Characters that will stick around us for years to come. Also, we have the power in our wallets to pay what we want to see more of. If you don't think of yourself much as a creator of media, you do have that money in your pocket. And that money talks, especially to big studio execs who see, hey, this film didn't make a lot of money, maybe we shouldn't make more of this crap and make more films with women and people of all backgrounds. At the end of the day, I agree with 2-time Academy Award winner Cate Blanchett.
And perhaps those of us in the industry who are still foolishly clinging to the idea that female films with women at the centre are niche experiences. They are not. Audiences want to see them, and in fact, they earn money.
You go, Cate Blanchett. Why should we just enforce this test on everything? Should we? Are we taking this too seriously? Let me know what y'all think in the comments.